Rosanna, I'm interested to see this. You got a chance to spend some time with former Governor Andrew Cuomo, and really, I guess, marijuana was recreationally legalized in 2021. And since then, we've seen thousands of smoke shops illegally open up in the city here.
There are more illegal smoke shops in New York City than there are legal ones.
By far.
By far. And I asked Andrew Cuomo about that and whether there was some legal loophole, because he signed this into law. So here we are, Andrew Cuomo, signing this bill legalizing marijuana in the state. I spoke with him exclusively about all these illegal smoke shops and other issues concerning New Yorkers. Here we are. We're outside a cannabis store, which is not legal under New York state law. It's next door to Starbucks, next door to a lingerie store. You signed into law the legalization of marijuana in New York State.
Yes.
What happened?
That this store exists like this, with a sign out front, with the neon, just in case you missed it. This is illegal. It is illegal. But what this store is saying is, I know it's illegal, but I'm going to advertise it and put it in your face because I don't believe anyone enforces the law.
Okay, would it have been different if you were in charge because you signed it into law? What happened?
What I signed into law had several distributors who were highly regulated and who would be inspected and who had rules and regulations. And by the way, they paid for these franchises. That's what was done. It wasn't, we legalize it, anyone can sell it anywhere. It was only to distributors who were approved, and it was regulated.
But they're not enforcing, or they're trying to. I did talk to Detective Shell about this, and he said, you know, it has to come from the Sheriff's Department. The NYPD now is assisting. But
it doesn't have to, there's no have to, it doesn't have to come from the Sheriff's Office. New York City points its finger to New York State and they say they need a new state law. The state points their finger back at the city and says the city could do it on their own. It's that nobody wants to do it, Rosanna. If you need a state law, then pass a state law. That makes it nice and clear that localities can close down illegal pot shops, period. If the state won't do it, let the city do it on its own. This violates the nuisance code, and let the city authorize it. But it's not rocket science, right?
Should we try to go in?
Let's try.
How are you? Can we just ask what you're selling? You don't want to talk? Okay.
Well, it's not that hard to figure out.
But these are just CBDs. These are CBDs. I bet you it's under. Yes, we're going to leave. Vapes that you got rid of. They're here. How are they allowed to come back? I thought you got rid of them.
This is a crime. It is a crime. It's a misdemeanor, or it can even be a felony. So enforce the law. Vaping, we changed the law.
Right.
We were one of the first and the most aggressive. It's not being enforced.
So if Albany's listening to you right now, what advice would you give them?
Local governments are blaming Albany that they don't have the authority to close down pot stores. It's not worth the debate. Pass a law, nice and simple, one line, give local municipalities the authority to close down an illegal pot shop, period.
I also asked the NYPD's Chief of Patrol, John Shell, about these illegal pot shops and the efforts to shut them down.
I think the intention was to get them legal, make revenue, tax revenue, but it hasn't happened yet. And they're getting robbed at a record pace. Kids are getting sick. Our narcotics teams are going in there and doing search warrants and finding guns, illegal narcotics. In 2022, we had one civil nuisance abatement, as you call it, to shut it down. This year in 23, with the help of our sheriff, who really has the lead on this, we kind of work with the sheriff, but he's the primary. We have about 665 stores that we submitted to be closed. And I think some new laws are coming soon that you sell one time, we can close you right then and there. So progress is being made.
You know, everybody knows recreational marijuana legalized here in New York a couple of years ago, but that was for legal pot shops. Right now, I guess the surveys we've seen and heard from the NYPD, it's about 30 times as many illegal shops in operation as legal ones.
There's thousands of illegal weed shops right now. What is it, 35, 37 legal weed shops?
Right, to like 1,300 that are illegal.
And, you know, for many people in their neighborhood, they're upset about it. It's near their kids' schools. It's near their churches. It's also the target of robberies in their neighborhood. It's a problem. How did this happen? I spoke to former Governor Andrew Cuomo. He signed this into law in 2021. And I asked him, what went wrong here? How did this happen? Like, was there a loophole that these kind of stores that are not sanctioned by the state can open?
There is no loophole. It is illegal. This store is illegal. But you have to enforce it. You have to enforce it. And that's what we're not doing. And the reason this is so annoying is because this is obvious, right? We have liquor stores. You can only buy liquor in a liquor store. You can only buy tobacco in a store that's licensed to sell tobacco. We've been doing this for years, but you have to enforce it. And there's an attitude and a culture that just doesn't do the enforcement.
Well, it starts in Albany when you have the Assembly Speaker saying that, you know, basically enforcing the law and giving stiffer penalties is not going to be a deterrent to crime.
It's Albany. It's New York City. Look, New York City, they could pass a law, if it's not already clear, that says these are nuisances and they violate the city code and they're going to be closed down, period. The city could also do that. So point fingers at New York State, yes. Point the finger at New York City, yes. But meanwhile, New Yorkers are saying, I'm fed up with all of it. With the fare beating, with the pot stores, with the mentally ill, dangerous homeless on the streets. I'm fed up with all of it. And we're at a precarious point in this city. You know, people take for granted that New York City is always going to be great. Post-COVID, people are moving around. More people are leaving New York than any state in the United States of America. This is frightening, and it has to be stopped. People have to feel good about coming to the city.
Throughout the first 2 hours of Good Day, we've had snippets of your interview with the former governor, Andrew Cuomo, talking mostly about illegal pot shops. But, you know, as I said earlier, like, he's been very visible lately between op-eds and interviews and this kind of thing. And so that's leading a lot of people to wonder right now, is he planning on running for office again?
Well, that's something we talk about. I mean, let's face it, when he was in office, he signed a lot of things into action, right? Congestion pricing, legalization of marijuana. All these things are now coming to fruition in New York, and not everybody's happy about them. So we spoke to the former governor about very concerning issues and whether he plans on making a comeback. As we walk a little bit on the streets of New York City, I feel like you want to jump back in and do something. What do you want to do? What do you want to run for? What's next for Andrew Cuomo?
As you know, I am New York through and through, born and bred, and I'll do anything I can to help New York. I'm trying to point out issues to the public because I believe the public needs to see progress, right? They've heard it all. Politicians say everything. They want results. They want progress. They want action. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to spur the process so they actually do something.
When are you running? What are you going to run for?
I'm not running for anything.
Mayor?
I'm going to run out of the rain.
I got
How are you? Good to see you.
Do you notice as you walk down the street, I'm walking down the street with you, lots of people are smiling, they're shaking your hand. It's like, you know.
I think it's because I'm with you. Okay?
I don't know. It's either you or me. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's one of us, and I'm thinking it's you. But we're looking over here. We see lots of traffic, congestion pricing. You signed that into law. But you went on our show. You basically said you had a change of heart after COVID and the way the city has come back.
Yeah.
Since then.
I didn't have a change of heart. I signed the law at a much different time, right? It's about time and circumstances. To pass congestion pricing now, when we're fighting to get people back into the city, when we have this exodus from the city and the state, I don't believe now is the time to put up another obstacle. After people are already fed up, now we say we're going to increase the fare to come into New York City. And we really want you to take mass transit. But by the way, I know that you don't think the subway is safe. How do you put people in that position?
What do you think about Andrew Cuomo?
Great.
Would you want him to run again for office?
He should do it.
He should do it. He should do it, she said.
Yes, that's what she said.
And?
I still think it's because I'm with you, Rosanna.
Stop it. Are you running for office?
No.
Not right now.
Not right now. I am doing what I'm doing, which is trying to help the city, help the state, bring these issues to the attention of New Yorkers, or really make sure the politicians hear the New Yorkers.
Not right now.
Yes. 3 key words.
So, I mean, listen, Andrew Cuomo still has to answer a lot of questions. And I can tell by my social media, people want him to sit down and talk about why he made those decisions during COVID about nursing homes. Of course, the allegations of sexual assault, which he is subpoenaing information from the Attorney General, Letitia James. She has not handed over that information. I think he thinks that that information is going to be favorable to him. But there are a lot of things that Andrew Cuomo has to sit down and get honest about and let us know what his thinking was at that time, I think, before he can jump back into the race.
You know, he's saying he's not running right now. The question is he going to run in the future, and for what office? You know, would he consider at some point running for governor again? Will he consider running for mayor of New York City? You know, he's pointing out a lot of problems and kind of distancing himself from a lot of the issues that, you know, he signed into law, saying, well, I signed it in, but other people are not executing it properly. So I think that's going to be something that he's going to have to address as well, because obviously you can see those being used in campaign ads just like that.
Totally, and I also think that he's speaking out. I mean, he basically said that in the interview. I think he wants to shame the people, you know, who are in power right now. Do something about it.
But you wonder if he's shaming people so he can get back in the good graces of people and run for office. But time will tell, as they say. It's been really insightful, really, to watch you interview him.
And I have to say, it was kind of insightful to walk the streets of New York City. Now, granted, we were just on the Upper East Side, and he got very, very favorable reaction. But he's been going to a lot of black churches over the last few months, and they have been welcoming him back into the community.
Well, I also think, and this is a political analysis statement, is that we also live in a time where past sins don't seem to follow politicians like they used to. You used to, if you resigned from office, you were done in the public sphere. Not anymore. You know, so I think that there's a path that he sees that could bring him back into the public spotlight and maybe back into public office. He's saying not right now, but again, time will tell. Good job.
All right, thank you. We'll keep an eye on this.